Hey guys, Dr. Rich Suplita here again with Ask a Former Atheist. So today I want to talk real quickly about three ways that atheists show themselves very often to be disingenuous when we interact with them. Here are three telltale signs to be on the lookout for that I'm convinced demonstrate that the atheist doesn't really desire honest and mutually respectful discussion. So sometimes you'll encounter these in person. Very often, it's in your online interactions with non-believers and the internet atheists. So here are three things to be on the lookout for. I encounter these all the time. If you guys are engaging these types of discussions, no doubt you've come across at least a couple of these. So the first one is their use of loaded language. Their use of loaded language. Couple examples here. The atheist will often refer to God as your sky daddy, right? And so it's a term of mocking and derision that they're applying. So instead of God, they'll say, you're a sky, you believe in your sky daddy beliefs because you want to feel special about yourself and the world. But that shows an intellectual dishonesty that they would use a phrase like that rather than simply talking about God, even if they purport not to believe in God. Another one, and this is very common, especially when politics comes up, is that they'll say, you Christians, you Christians are trying to force your beliefs. So you see the loaded language there. You're trying to force your beliefs on to everyone else. And so there's a couple elements there of loaded language. And of course, there are other examples that you'll find to be on the lookout for. Number two, and this one is very common, the claim that there is no evidence, right? There's no evidence for any of your beliefs. Zero, like zilch, nada. It's entirely fabricated. It's entirely made up. This cliche type of claim, it does reveal a very clear dishonesty on the atheist side. So here's why. Let's just take the example of the historical Jesus. The historical data supporting the life, the public ministry, the death of Jesus of Nazareth by Roman crucifixion. These data points do, in fact, constitute very powerful evidence that helps corroborate the claims of the New Testament, the claims of New Testament Christianity. And so do the claims of the authors of the New Testament themselves. They claim to be eyewitnesses of the resurrected Jesus, and this includes their willingness to suffer great persecution and ultimately to die martyrs' deaths for their testimony about Jesus. So, while some more honest skeptics might say something like this, just hypothetically, let's say you're dealing with an atheist who's actually a little more intellectually honest, and they might say something like, I acknowledge your evidence. I see what you're saying. That does seem to check out, but I don't find it conclusive or I don't find it persuasive. And then here's why, right? And then offer some sort of counter perspective. That would be a fair discussion. That would represent some intellectual honesty on the side of the skeptic. But so often, again, especially online, the atheist just wants to say, no, you don't have any evidence whatsoever for your religious or your faith-based beliefs. And so that reveals a lack of intellectual integrity on behalf of the atheist. And then finally, number three, you'll see this one all over. Efforts by the atheist to commandeer science, the entire enterprise of the natural sciences, as if the natural sciences speak unequivocally and univocally to their beliefs about reality, and are completely mute or neutral in all ways to the claims of people of faith. So, and actually, think about this in a more extreme version. More extreme version of this is to blast anyone who doesn't fully endorse their belief, right, of molecules to mankind biological evolution, if you question any aspect of that, it's common for atheists to label you as scientifically ignorant, or maybe they'll say it this way. They'll often accuse you, if you question any part of it, they'll accuse you of, well, you just don't understand. You don't understand evolution. You don't understand science. And I'm thinking, no, I understand the claim quite well, but here's where I disagree with it and why I disagree with it. But any type of pushback, it's like, no, you're scientifically ignorant. You don't understand evolution. That's why you reject it. That tends to be the narrative of the skeptic or the atheist. I think of the claim, which actually I think this is a good maxim. Atheists like this. They'll say, I think it was not Richard, Christopher Hitchens who originated it. And he said that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And I'm fine with that. And atheists seem to like to use that maxim, appeal to that, when it applies to things like our Christian beliefs. And I believe our beliefs pass that test. So they're happy to apply it there and then not listen to you, actually present evidence. But they don't want to follow their own advice when it comes to their sacred and very often conjecture-laden hypotheses, their speculation about the origins of biological life. And so there, real quick, 3 things to be on the lookout for when you interact with atheists, either in person or probably more often these days online. I'm sure they're going to show up down here in the comment section and probably repeat a lot of this same type of stuff I'm making you aware of here. But be on the lookout for these. Be on the lookout for these tactics and other disingenuous tactics common among atheists, and be prepared to call them on it. Do so, as the Bible says, with meekness and with fear. Be respectful, right? But do call them on it and make them make their case. If they disagree with you, they say you don't have evidence, offer them evidence and ask them for their rational rebuttal. You probably won't get it. You'll probably be more likely to get sneering and mocking and labeling and so forth, but it's at least worth the effort of making the effort. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button below and join us at Ask a Former Atheist. Until next time, I am Dr. Rich Suplita.